And he joins us this morning from Fort Myers for at least one more week on the Harbor One Hotline. Hey, Rob.
Oh, my goodness. Hey, when Wiki says he's a trivia juggernaut, he's basically saying that because he doesn't accept the right answers. So he says something, and you say that's wrong, and he's like, no, it's not, and then he just goes on his way. So that's why he's a trivia juggernaut.
I'm like Kevin Malone from The Office. There's just a gift that I have when it comes to trivia.
Okay.
Seattle.
So listen, we're getting close to the home opener here, a week away from Thursday, and I think some would say this team has been a bit of a surprise when it comes to their performance. Are you feeling that same way, Rob?
No, I don't feel good about the team right now, to be honest with you. So I feel, but that could change at the end of the day. But this is how spring training works. Yesterday was such a dud. You had the relievers didn't do well. The only good thing that happened yesterday was that your cleanup hitter hit a home run, but that was on the other side of the state for an entirely different team. So it's, I think that they got some things to figure out here over the next week and a half, and part of that is just getting guys back, Yoshida and getting back Verdugo and two key guys. So, in a day, in 2 days, in a week, it could feel a little bit different. But a day like yesterday sort of it made us remind us that there are definitely some holes in this team.
Rob, with you being down there every day, I always wonder, how much does spring training show us? Is it kind of like where we always look at preseason games in the NFL and, I look at those like they mean nothing. So is that like the same approach that spring training is, or is there a better view of what the team is based on some of the games that they play, or is it just wait till the season starts?
No, it's a good question because every time I go through NFL preseason, everyone freaks out about Bam Childress catching touchdown passes. It's like, who cares? I think spring training is a lot like that. I will say this, is that to me, the most important part about spring training when it comes to actually winning games is at the end. You want to be playing well at the end. I've seen it carry over really good teams with the Red Sox where they haven't been playing well at the end and they get off the really crappy starts. So I think that's the key. The problem here is that you haven't even had your whole team together. So you got to sort of crunch a lot in a matter of a week. But I do think that there are things like I said with the bullpen yesterday that you have to start figuring out. You have to understand, okay, this guy is going to go in the ninth, this guy's going to go in the eighth, this guy's going to go in the seventh. And right now, it doesn't really feel like they have all that locked in.
Rob, Brayan Bello getting a lot of praise recently. What have you liked out of him in spring training?
First of all, I like the fact he has a tattoo that says 100. And I asked him, I said, why do you have a tattoo that says 100? He's like, because I want to throw 100 miles an hour. All right, well, don't we all, first of all? but it's like I give him a lot of credit. There you go. You have goals, you have aspirations, and you tattooed it on your wrist to show that. I think he's a really confident kid, and to me, I always slow play these prospects. Everyone gets all jacked up about them. Oh, they're going to be Hall of Famers and everything else. But I will say this: this kid, when you see him face hitters, it's different. His stuff is really, really, really good. And I think that if you're talking about optimism with this team, I think that you go with Whitlock, you go with Bello, you go with Sale, you go with the starting pitchers. And, so that is one thing that I'm really looking forward to seeing this kid pitch this year.
I thought it was because he kept it 100 every time he talked.
Well, maybe it is. That's why I have my 100 tattoo. But, everybody's different.
You mentioned Yoshida. Certainly, one positive would be that bat, and should that be able to translate here to Fenway, then that's certainly something that would be helpful to this team.
Yeah, well, I just came out from the clubhouse, and I was asking guys, okay, what's your perception of this guy? And because all they had seen him do was take BP and out in the backfield, and the next thing you know, he's on TV hitting historic home runs. And Kike Hernandez has said, we knew right when we started seeing him that this guy was legit. And, I think that what the WBC has shown, the fact that this guy's hitting cleanup behind Ohtani suggests something. I don't know if it's going to translate immediately, but I think that everything that we've seen from this guy is hugely encouraging. Now, it's too bad that you have to say, hey, here's your best hitter, and you don't even know what you have. I mean, that's where we are with this roster. But I guess it's a step in the right direction. And I think the WBC as a whole, I don't know. I'm sure that, Wiggy, you've been watching the WBC game?
I have. I've been checking it out. My boy Showtime,
right.
He's going to be a free agent next year. So
who do you get tonight? Who do you get tonight? Japan or USA?
Oh, I'm going with Showtime all day long. I'm going with Japan.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. But I think that these guys come back. Like Kike Hernandez comes back yesterday from this unbelievable tournament where it's the most intense environment that you ever saw. David Ortiz after the game yesterday says it was more electric than even a World Series game. It's like, what? What are you talking about? But like Kike Hernandez comes back from that and then plays in this like awful spring training dud of a game, and it's such a weird dynamic. But I think that when you talk about the WBC, the thing is that you hope that enthusiasm and that the electricity carries over even a little bit to what we're going to have in regular season this year. Because, I mean, this is what – forget about the injuries. I mean, baseball needs something like this, right? I mean, don't they?
Yeah. Plus, plus the other thing is with Japan is they don't allow TikTok over there, so those guys are not distracted, in the clubhouse. Now, let me ask this question, Bradford, because
it's amazing analysis right there.
That is pretty good.
That was really good.
You didn't know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's they don't allow TikTok, so it's too much of a distraction, so they can focus in on the important thing, which is winning the WBC. Bradford, when you look at, I know that we went back and forth, or you and Curtis went back.
Up until now, Wiggy thought WBC was a category on Pornhub, but anyway, go ahead. Go ahead.
That's a category that we would check out, though.
Hey, both are electric right now.
Right.
So there you go.
All right. Last week, you and Curtis went out back and forth.
By the way, I have to interrupt here. I just went through the killing. Taking on Kennedy segment. Wiggy got a question wrong that will haunt my dreams forever.
Really?
It is the worst moment I have ever heard in radio. It includes me drunk with a dog tag.
So you and Curtis back and forth last week about opening day starter and Chris Sale and and just that thing. But when you actually look at this rotation, I think I heard Lou say this when he was filling in for Gresham Foyer, that you need at least one, sometimes two aces. When you look at this starting pitching for the Red Sox, do they have one guy that could potentially be that guy?
Well, Chris Sale is going to potentially be.
Yeah. Well,
but I don't know if I would put him in that category.
But you say potentially, and the answer is yeah, potentially. Mm-hmm. But this is the problem. I mean, you could go down the list of guys: Chris Sale and Brayan Bello and Garrett Whitlock and Corey Kluber and all these guys. And say, yeah, potentially, sure.
Do you have one?
Yes. I mean, all those names that I mentioned potentially could be top of the rotation, one or two guys. No question about it. But the problem is, in the next breath, you're like, well, you prove it. Prove it. You can't prove it. And so I guess that it's better to have at least guys that have potential. But I do know this, is the teams they're going up against have the no doubt about it ones and the twos. So we're gonna have to figure that out. So to answer your question, Brayan Bello, like Courtney asked about him, like he has the potential to, like what the image that he portrayed the other day, like that is an elite starter. But until this guy does it at the major league level, I can't say he's gonna do it.
Well, Sale's going to be on the mound today, correct? So do you want to see any type of
It's actually his half birthday, so he's not going to be able to do it.
Any improvement you want to see out of him to show that he is back and he is that guy?
No, because he could cruise through. It's still spring training. I mean, he could cruise through everybody, and you feel great about Chris Sale, and that's super. But it's not until whenever that is. What is it? Thursday or Saturday? No, not Thursday. Definitely Saturday, because we documented that. But Saturday, that's when it matters the most. That we listen. Chris Sale has done everything right this spring. He said all the right things. He's done all the right things. He's pitched well, so forth and so on. But like with the rest of this team, I've never seen a Red Sox team that it could go either way. That is so uncertain, and it's a weird feeling because Wiggy, you asked about spring training.
Mm-hmm.
By this time, most of the time, like I have a pretty good feel of the team. I'm walking through the stands, people asking whatever. I'm like, I can't tell you. I don't know. I would take the over of whatever it is, 74 wins, but still, I can't tell you exactly what this team's going to be.
Well, 9 days until we can all do.
Let's go.
We can all do what Chris Sale will be doing, and that is sitting back and watching the Red Sox play on opening day. So,
quick game too.
One of the great days. I love opening day. I love the marathon day. I heard Rob. Have you heard the rumblings that the entire, or virtually the entire 2013 team will be back to commemorate the marathon? And
I don't even think it's rumblings. I think you can lock that in. Yeah,
okay.
I think that's happening. Yeah,
that'll be on that marathon Monday game.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah. All right. Great to talk to you, Rob Bradford. We'll talk to you again next week.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot. I'll talk to you soon.